Hey everyone, welcome to their top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 best movies of 1982. Or just my favorite movies of 1982. 1982 for me is the best year of cinema. For me, personally, I love 1982. I think it's the best year. Some of my favorite films of all time. My actual favorite film of all time came out in 1982, so spoilers for number one if you know my channel very well, but love 1982 so much. So I did 1991 because it was the year I was born. I thought I'd do 1982 because it's just a year I personally love. So for me, these are my top 10 of my favorite films that came out in 1982. I know it's his best, but it's mostly favorite. And as always, for top 10 lists, you gotta have your honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Tron, Rocky 3, Diner, The Year of Living Dangerously, An Officer and a Gentleman, Creepshow, The Dark Crystal, Sophie's Choice, and Poltergeist. All great films. Believe it or not, they didn't make the top 10 list, but we did make my top 10 as my number 10. My number 10 is probably my ultimate, guilty pleasure action film. I just fucking love this movie so much. It is silly, it's ridiculous. Love every second of it. Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Barbarian. Not a big Conan the Destroyer fan, but I love Conan the Barbarian. I love its action. I love Arnold. I love his goofy, silly performance. You'll never see a movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger punches a horse in the face. It's violent. It's bloody. It's got one of the most kick-ass action scores of all time. Love the action. Love the one-liners. It's just a fun movie. It's a fun popcorn film. It's goofy, silly. It makes little to no sense half the time, but I fucking love every second of Conan the Barbarian. Love it. Number 9 is probably the most serious film that came out in 1982, and it was the Best Picture winner. That's Gandhi. Gandhi is a terrific film. Ben Kingsley plays Gandhi so fucking well. He gets absorbed into this role. It's not Ben Kingsley. That's Gandhi. That's Gandhi. The accent, the look, it's just a perfect performance. Richard Attenborough directed this movie, did an amazing job. It's like an epic. It's like a 3-hour epic, and it's just done so well. The writing is strong. The editing is solid. Sorry, I almost said the editing is godlike, but I wouldn't go that far. The score is really good. The supporting cast is good, but this is Ben Kingsley's performance, and it really makes the movie shine. And the movie itself just shows the realism of Gandhi and what he went through, the politics he went through, and that starvation he went through. It is just such a hard movie to watch, but it's also a very inspirational, heartfelt, important film to watch. So yeah, Gandhi, great film. Number 8, E.T. the Extraterrestrial. E.T. is one of my favorite Spielberg films. It is a terrific, amazing coming-of-age story. It's a great sci-fi drama story about a family. This boy and his sister and his brother find an alien, and then basically trying to, become friends with it and also try to get it home to its people and stuff. It's a really great movie with beautiful John Williams score, beautiful direction, and a very emotionally hard-hitting climax. And yeah, E.T. Everyone knows E.T. Everyone loves it. Number 7 is Tootsie. Tootsie is such a funny film. Dustin Hoffman and Bill Murray, just do so good. I love this movie. I love this movie about this actor who just really can't get work right now, so he dresses like a woman to become an actress. This is a movie this is like another movie that you can't make today. Just, why. You can't make this. It would offend a lot of people and stuff, and I love it, though. I think it is so funny. I think Dustin Hoffman is hilarious in this film. I love Bill Murray as his roommates. I think, what's her name? Is it Jessica Lange? Jessica Lange's in the movie? Yeah, she's great. I just really enjoyed this story, and it's just one of those silly movies about a man dressed up as a woman. It's not quite as funny as Mrs. Doubtfire, but it's still great. And just, yeah, Tootsie, it's a classic. Number 6 is Rambo: First Blood. This is like Rocky showed that Stallone could be a very talented actor and a very a good character in movies. And this one showed that he could be also a badass. He is awesome in this film. And I love that it's just this soldier who came back from Vietnam, and these people are not allowing him to stay in this town, and they basically all go after him, and how he takes out all these cops in the forest is just just great. But it also ends with a very emotional, hard hitting ending, and just I'm never a huge like Rambo fan with the sequels. Like First Blood 2 is fine, and I didn't actually hate the newest one, Last Blood, but they're all like kind of mediocre films. But Rambo First Blood was legit fantastic with a really solid performance by Stallone and a really good villain in the movie. And it's a very good thriller, also an action film. And that ending is just a really compelling ending. Just, yeah, First Blood, great film. Number 5, one of my favorite comedies of all time, Fast Times at Richmond High. Fast Times at Richmond High is so funny. Amy Heckling directed this movie. She does a great job. I love this cast. I love these characters. I love the just weirdness of the film, and just the crudeness is really funny. My personal favorites, I love Judge Reinhold in this movie as Brad. He's my favorite character. I love him. And Sean Penn, of course, is his most iconic character, Jeff Spicoli. Phoebe Cates was like every 80s boy's fantasy. Like, bow, bow, like everyone knows that scene. Everyone loves that scene. And even Jennifer Jason Leigh, like, she was really good. I love the cast. I love everything about Fast Times, The Rest of My Nine. Every time I watch it, it always makes me laugh. It's such a funny film. Number 4, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. The best Star Trek movie, in my opinion. First Contact is really close, but this is my favorite. I love Star Trek Wrath of Khan. It's just brings back the greatest Star Trek villain of all time, of Khan. It has one of the most saddest death scenes of Spock. It just has great action sequences, some of the best sound mixing I've ever seen in a movie. The score is riveting, just everything about it. It's like the problem with some Star Trek movies is a lot of the Star Trek movies feel like just 2-hour episodes of Star Trek. But Wrath of Khan actually feels like a legit epic sci-fi film, but also being a Star Trek film. So that's what makes it amazing. Number 3, one of the most underrated anime films of all time, The Secret of Nim. The Secret of Nim is a breathtaking film directed by Don Bluth. Don Bluth, I love Don Bluth. He did An American Tail, Land Before Time, Anastasia. Like, he's done some very good films, but Secret of Nim is his masterpiece. Really great film. Beautiful animation, especially like the animation designs of like the rats, especially Nicodemus, the Great Owl, and just all these amazing atmospheric moments. It's also a very dark and disturbing, pretty bloody film for a G-rated film. It has gripping storytelling, and it's very thought-provoking for a kids' film, and I love it. And anytime I talk about this movie to people that aren't film aficionados, they have no idea what I'm talking about. They have no idea what this movie is. Even people who grew up in the 80s don't even know what this movie is. It was never like this big movie like a lot of Disney films, or even like Warner Brothers films or DreamWorks films. And a lot of people don't know The Secret Name, and people should, because it's one of the best anime films ever made. It's truly remarkable. Number 2 is my favorite remake of all time, and probably my favorite horror film of all time. That is John Carpenter's The Thing. I love The Thing. I think it is a perfect horror film. How to do a horror film perfectly. Absolutely perfect. The claustrophobic feel, the atmosphere, the music, the subtle performances, just the amazing practical effects, just the sheer isolation of the film it is just a perfect horror film. I don't know if it's a perfect movie, but as a horror film, it's perfect. The way they do the chills and the scares, even the jump scares, is perfectly timed. What John Carpenter did with this movie was just one in a million. Like, you can't do this movie again. And they've tried with they did a prequel in like 2011, and it was just terrible. And they tried to have that same atmosphere and that build, but you just can't do this movie again. It was like a lightning in a bottle film that just worked for its time in 1982, and just it goes down in history as one of the greatest horror films ever made, and just it's amazing. And yes, Keith David and Kurt Russell are both fantastic. And the ending is one of the most talked about endings for horror films. Just such a great ending. I have nothing negative to say about John Carpenter's The Thing. It is a perfect horror film. Number 1 is Blade Runner. Like, everybody knows that's my favorite film, so it's like I'm not going to talk about it all again. I've talked about it so many times on this channel. Everybody knows Blade Runner is my favorite film of all time. Like, this is nothing new. I have nothing new to say. Watch a shit ton of my videos. You'll see me talk about Blade Runner. So, yeah. Those are my top 10 of my favorite or best movies of 1982, in my opinion. So, in the comments section below, please tell me, what are your guys' top 10 favorite movies of 1982? Give me thoughts and opinions. Comment below, let me know. And as always, for this video, please subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.